Let's talk about the project on AWS with pyspark combination. First, let me define the problem statement. So first, let me show the data for you. So we have some retail data such as orders data, right? Let me just quickly show that data for you. So this is the orders data that we have. We have different columns such as order ID, order date, order customer ID, order status, right? So this is the orders related data that we have got, and also we have other data, right? So this is orders data. Let me just reopen it once again. So this is orders data. I'm also going to open order items data. So this is order items data. You have got different fields such as order item ID, order ID, order item product ID, order item quantity, order item subtotal, and then order item product price. So these are the different columns that we have got. So now the problem statement goes this way. So you need to find out the daily revenue for each and every product. Find the daily revenue for each and every product. So let me make a point of that. So the problem statement goes this way. Calculate the daily revenue for each product, right? So you have to understand some keywords in this statement. So you have to understand some keywords such as you have to get the revenue for every day, and we need to calculate the revenue, and we need to do it for every product, right? So first let's see how to get this data for daily, right? So there must be some date column, right? So let's see if we have any date column in the data that we have got. So this is order items data. Let me just reopen it once again. So this is order items data. This is orders data. So in orders data, we have got a column called as order date column. So I can use this column to get the data for daily, right? Now for how to calculate the revenue, do you have any column in orders data that will give me the pricing information? No, nothing, right? So definitely I have to use a column called as order item subtotal column from order items to get the revenue, right? So, but the problem here is these are in two different datas, right? These are in two different data sets. One is in orders, the other one is order items. So how do we join them? There must be some common column using which we have to join them. So we have to use the column called as order ID column from orders and order ID column from order items to join these two, right? Only then we can actually go ahead. So we have to perform join operation. Then what next? And we have to do it for every product, for each product, right? So for each product we have to do it. So that's where I have to group it based on order item product ID column. I have to group it based on order item product ID, as well as I have to group it based on order date column, because we have to get the revenue for daily basis, right? So we got some idea about data, we got some idea about the problem statement. Let's go to the hands-on. So this is the project which I already prepared. So again, we'll take a step-by-step approach to understand this. Let me close all this. So the first main point of contact for this is nothing but retail enricher. So this is the starting point. You can see that we have this main method. So how are you calling this main method? From here, right? Whenever you run this code, we have a built-in variable called as underscore name underscore underscore. It will be set to the value called as underscore main underscore underscore, and it will call this method called as main. And this is the starting point. So here we can see that I'm reading totally 3 environment variables or 3 runtime arguments, such as environment, source, and then sync. So let me click on run, edit configurations, and here you can see the parameters I'm passing. So this code I may wanted to run it on the local machine, which is nothing but dev, and I need to pass on what is the source information, what is the sync information. I hope you are aware of what is source and sync, right? Source is input, sync is output. So those I'm trying to read it as runtime arguments. An app name I'm going to set it as retail export analytics. Then I'm trying to create my Spark session object here by passing the app name. Let's go to this method, get Spark session. Very simple. Spark session dot builder dot app name is set to app name, master, and then get or create. So this will create the Spark session object for me. And then I have my configuration file called as application.properties here. I'm going to mention all the details here. You can see that if I'm running on local machine, it will be dev and it's going to take the input and output details. If I'm going to run it on production, let's say AWS, right? Then it will be production. Then here also I'm defining my input and output. So source, I'm going to mention my source data. What are my data sets that I would require? Orders is the data that I would require, and order items is also the data that I would require. Input format, for now I'll give it as CSV format. And then sync. Sync is my target or destination. So sync format is nothing but JSON format. And let's say I wanted to mention the mode as overwrite mode. And this will be the folder name, May 2020 revenue. Right? So this will go to C drive data folder. Within that folder, it's going to create a folder with the name called as May 2020 revenue. Right? So basically, I'm going to read all that configuration file by using CP. CP is nothing but config parser. Look at the import statements. Import config parser as CP. So config parser is used to read your configuration file, right? And as I'm trying to perform some wide transformations for now, I'm going to set this shuffle partitions to 2. Spark.sql.shuffle.partitions to 2. Right? And then I'm trying to define these variables such as input directory. Input base directory is nothing but this variable input.base.dir. If you can go to this application properties, it's nothing but this. So it's going to read the data from this path. So that's what this input base.dir is doing. And source file format is nothing but my CSV format. Right? And then once you have this path, we need to mention which data that we have to read, because if you can see here, there are total 6 folders. Which one do you want to read? So that we have to specify, such as orders, right? I'm specifying my orders path. Also, I'm defining a schema for it, right? So you can see the schema. So struct field, order ID is integer type, order date is date type, order customer ID is integer type, order status is string type, and so on. So that's how I'm defining my order schema. So that schema I'm using it here, orders custom schema. Then I'm trying to define my data frame by saying read from source. See what are the things that I'm passing here: Spark session, input base directory, which is nothing but this retail DB directory, and source file format, which is nothing but CSV format, orders data folder, which is nothing but this folder, and orders custom schema, which is nothing but this custom schema that I've defined here. So once you have all this information, we can create the orders data frame. So let's go to this path, read from source, and you can see that I'm creating my data frame. Spark session.read.format is CSV, schema is a custom schema, load, and in Python we have this format string approach, right? I'm giving that here. F string, input based directory, which is nothing but it will go to C drive, data folder, retail DB. Within that, we have multiple folders here. Which one do you want to read? That we are specifying here. Source.orders.data. Right? So that's how this will create a data frame called as orders data frame. It will return it for me. So similarly, I'm going to create the order items data also. So once you have these two data frames available, so my actual logic is available in get daily revenue method. So let's go here. It's available as a part of retail processor.py. So let me do one thing. First, let me try to comment out this portion. So I'm going to return this filter data. So let's go back here. So I'm going to uncomment this part because I wanted to print the output to the console for now. So that's why I'm uncommenting line number 41, and I'll try to comment out this portion for now. I'll uncomment this later, right? So the flow goes this way. So it will go and call get daily product revenue. First, we are trying to filter it based on order status column, because if you can see here, there are some statuses with pending payment. If the status is pending payment, then Amazon won't make any revenue, right? Let's say this is coming from Amazon, right? So Amazon won't make any revenue if the status is pending payment or payment review, etc. Only if the status is complete or closed, only then they can make the revenue. So hence, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mention my filtering mechanism here, orders df.filter. I'm going to filter it based on order status column. Order status either in complete or closed, get me only those records. So now let's try to run this code. Click on run, edit configurations. Make sure you pass these parameters: dev, source and sync. Why 3? Because if I scroll up, I need those 3. Right? Let's go ahead, run, edit configuration. Make sure you give these 3. Click on apply at the bottom right corner and then click on OK. Then you can right click here on retail indicator and then run it. So we got the output. Interestingly, look at the output here. It contains only closed or complete order statuses. Right? Look at order status column. So once you have this available, then what next? Let's go back to retail processor here. Then I wanted to join this orders data with order items data, right? But to join, we have to look at the common column. So we are going to use order ID column from orders and order ID column from order items to join these two. So let's do that. So I'll try to uncomment this portion. I will return this join df. So now you should get the data from both the tables or both the data frames. So let's go to retail indicator, right click and run it. So have a look here. We have got these columns such as order ID, order date, order customer ID, order status, and then order item ID, order item ID, order item product price, all these columns. So basically, you must be aware that all these columns are coming from orders. All these first 4 columns are coming from orders, and the remaining columns are coming from order items. How are these two joined? These two are joined based upon order ID column and order item order ID column. Look at their values: 1, 1, 4, 4, and so on. Right? So that's how these two are joined. Then what next? So once you have joined, we need to perform the grouping and aggregate mechanism, right? Because the reason is, remember the problem statement, we have to get the revenue for each and every day for each and every product. So it's very clear that I have to group it based on two columns: order date column and then order item product ID column, right? So that's why I'm doing the grouping mechanism here. So let me just move this statement. So here you can see I'm trying to group it based on order date column on order item product ID column, right? And then I'm trying to perform an aggregate operation called as sum on top of order item subtotal column, and I'm rounding it off to two places, because let's say if the revenue comes as 12345.5678, I don't want it to have so many points after this, so I just have two places. That's why I'm saying round it off to two places, and I'm giving an alias to this such as revenue. Alias is nothing but a new name, right? So let's go ahead and run this. So we are getting output. Let's see the columns that we have got. So we have got three columns: order date, order item, product ID, and then revenue, right? So this is what we want. So how to interpret this output, or how to read this output? On July 25th, 2013, for the product ID 365, the revenue that was made was $3,315 and so on, right? So that's how we can read it. But let's say I wanted to do a bit of customization here. Let's say I wanted to sort it based on the ascending order of order date, descending order of revenue. Let's do that. So I have to sort it based on two columns now. So I'm going to sort it based on two columns. Those are nothing but order date column in ascending order and revenue column in descending order. Order date column in ascending order, revenue column in descending order. Right? So let me return this data frame. Let's go back to the retail enricher, then run it. So now have a look here, we are getting this output. So we have the order date column, order item product ID column, and then revenue column. Right? And you can see that how to read this output. On July 7th, on July 25th, 2013, for product ID 1004, the revenue that was made was 5,599. Also look at the revenue column. All these are sorted in the descending order: 5,500, 5,000, 4,400, 3,300, and so on. This is sorted in the descending order, decreasing order. Right? Now let's say that I wanted to write this to some location, right? Some path. So let me comment out line number 41, because now I will show you directly how we are writing the data. I'll uncomment line numbers 43 to 48. So here again we are trying to get the output based directory. So output based directory is nothing but it will go to C drive data folder and it will start writing the data, right? And here we can see that sync file format. So what's the file format that we wanted to use? JSON format. And then sync output mode. Output mode I'm going to give it as override mode. And also what is the folder name that we wanted to create? May 2020 revenue. That is, it will go to C drive data folder and it will write the data in JSON format with the folder name called as May 2022 event, right? And then finally, I'm saying write to sync. So what are the details that I'm passing here? Final process data frame, which is nothing but this data frame that we have got in line number 39. Unsync file format is JSON format. Sync output mode is sync output mode is overwrite mode. Output folder name is C drive data folder and output based directory. Right. So these are the things that I'm mentioning. Output based directory is nothing but C drive data folder. So have a look here. We're not hard coding anything in our project, right? You should not do any hard coding. Everything you should read it from a configuration file. This is how we follow in the project. We will never hard code anything. Everything should go to your configuration file. And then finally here I'm saying write to sync. Let's go here. I'm saying process data frame dot write dot o format is sync file format is JSON. Mode I'm mentioning it as overwrite mode, right? So what is the meaning of overwrite mode? If your target directory already exists, then your write operation won't fail, right? If you don't mention overwrite, then the default operation is error, it will fail, right? If the target directory already exists, then it will fail. But in our case, my Spark job should not fail. Hence, I'm giving the mode as overwrite so that even if the target directory exists, it will just remove that and then recreate the folder file. Right? I hope that is clear. Right. So here I'm saying output based directory, it's nothing but C drive data folder, and output folder name is nothing but May 2020 revenue. Right. So let's do one thing. Let's try to run this code now. So make sure you pass the 3 parameters that we would require. That is environment, source, and sync. We need to pass these runtime arguments: run, edit configurations, dev, source, and then sync. Click on OK. Right click here and then run it. So you can see that the exit code is showing as 0, right? So what is the meaning of exit code showing as 0? So your operation is successful, right? You successfully return the data. Now let's go and check the output. So we should go and check. We should go to C drive data folder, C drive data folder, and then here you can see May 2020 revenue, right? So you can see that there are some JSON files here, right? You can see the JSON files, and because we have mentioned the shuffle partitions as 2, let me go back here. Because we have mentioned the shuffle partitions as 2, we are seeing exactly 2 JSON files. Let me say open in terminal. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me just say right click, show more options, git bash here. So you can see the JSON files here. This is where you have your data. Head, then one of the file name. You can see the data, order date, order item, product ID, and then review. This is your JSON data, right? And also, if you want, you can open this file in Notepad++ also. Let's open it Notepad++. You can see order date, order item, product ID, and then review. So this is what we want, right? Now let's do one thing. Let's try to deploy this project onto AWS, right? So let's go to AWS. So aws.amazon.com. Sign into the console at top right corner. So first step is I'm going to create something called as key pair. So you can just search for EC2. EC2 stands for Elastic Cloud Compute. Click on this link. So here I'm going to go to my key pairs. So just click on key pairs here. I have some old key pair. I'm going to remove this old key pair just to avoid confusion. So I'm going to click on create key pair. So give some key pair. Let's say EMR key pair, elastic map reduce key pair. And then here private key file format I'm going to select as .com. Scroll down, click on create key pair. So you can see that bottom left corner I have this key pair downloaded. EMR key pair.pem is downloaded to my local machine in my downloads folder. I will use this in some time. So meanwhile, I will go and upload my data in S3. S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. This is the place where all the big data is stored in AWS. It's nothing but scalable storage in the cloud. So just click on S3. So you can see there is a orange color icon saying create bucket. Let's click on it. So here you have to give the bucket name. So if you go and check in your configuration file, I'm specifying that the source bucket is nothing but EMR source 007. This is the name that I wanted to give. And then the rest of the details remains as it is. I'm not going to change anything. Just click on create bucket. So EMR source bucket has been created. So into this bucket, I'm going to upload my data. So just click on upload button here. And then you can say add folder. Just click on add folder. So you have to upload the CSV data of orders and order items. So I'll go to my C drive data folder. Guys, just give me 1 minute. So I'll try to upload the CSV data. So let me scroll down. Retail DB orders I'm going to upload. Click on upload. Click on add folder again. And then select order items folder. Click on upload. Click on upload. Scroll down. Click on upload here. So this starts uploading the data to S3 buckets. So basically bucket is nothing but a place in simple storage service where all the data is kept in the form of folders or files. So we have uploaded the data. You can see that I am in EMR source bucket and we have the folders called as orders and order items. This is our input data. So we also have to mention our output bucket, which is nothing but EMR target. So I'm going to create a folder for the same. Click on buckets, create bucket, and my target bucket name is EMR target 007. Scroll down, click on create bucket. So I have two buckets now, EMR source and EMR target. EMR source bucket contains your input data, orders and order items. Go inside orders, you can see your input data. And go inside order items, you can see your input data. So EMR source contains your input data. EMR target is completely empty right now, so it doesn't have any data because this will be automatically populated by your Spark job. So we have EMR key pair created and we have the data uploaded into these buckets. So let's go ahead and create a cluster in AWS EMR. Just search for EMR. EMR stands for Elastic Map Reduce. It is a managed Hadoop framework in AWS. Click on EMR. So just click on create cluster button. So I'm going to disable this checkbox called as login. And here I'm going to give my cluster name. So let's say revenue calculation. Revenue calculation is the name that I wanted to give. Any name is fine. And I'm going to select the version 5.30.1 should be fine. And I'm going to select Spark. Scroll down. So we are going to create a multi-node cluster with one master and two slave machines. So here in EC2 key pair, I have to select the key pair that I've created, right? So I have created a key pair with the name called as EMR key pair, right? That's what I am going to select here. Then click on create cluster at the bottom right corner. So this cluster creation will take a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, what we will try to do is we'll try to package our project, and we have to modify our code slightly. So now we have to read the data from S3 buckets and write it to S3 bucket. So in our code, just one line should be changed. Line number 27, input directory is nothing but input base directory S3, which is nothing but this one. On also one change with respect to output. Line number 43, it should be output base directory S3. That's it. Only a couple of lines should be changed. Now we have to package this code so that we can ship this code onto the multi-node cluster on AWS. So let's do that. So I'm going to go to my location of this project. If you can go to the project view, you will get to the location of your project. C drive users folder. Let's go to this path. So you can see the path C drive users. Let me go to users and your user ID. And then here you have a folder called as PyCharm projects. Let's go there. PyCharm projects. And you have your project with the name called as retail export analytics. So I have this folder here. Right? So I have this folder called as retail export analytics. So you have to package this code. Right click on it. Show more options. Send to compressed zip folder. So you have this available. Just copy this. Control C, copy it and place it on your desktop. So similarly, you have your key pair also downloaded, right? Look at the bottom left corner, you have the key pair. Just copy that or cut it and paste it on your desktop. Cut it and paste it on your desktop. So any questions still here, guys? Anybody have any questions? Let me know. I'll wait for a couple of minutes.
Do we have to write all these codes or what?
Can I repeat the question again?
Do we have to write all that codes like?
Yes, yes. See, not the complete code. Some portion of the code you have to write. Most of the code will already be there. You just have to fix any bugs or add any new features. So 80 to 90% of the code will already be there. You just have to add some enhancements or fix the bugs. So let's go and check if you have the cluster created now. You can see that if you see master public DNS, if you see this connect to master node using SSH, this is an indication that your cluster is up and running. Let's click on this connect to master node, click on Mac or Linux, and there are some instructions. We'll follow this. So the first step is I'll open something called as Mobaxterm. Click on start local terminal and I'll go to my desktop. I'm in my desktop and I have this PEM file emr I'm going to change the permissions of this file. You can see that it's showing as RWX, that is read, write and execute. But we have a Linux command called as chmod, using which I'm going to change the permissions. Chmod 400 emr right? Now let's run it again. Now you can see the permissions, it has been changed to R, which is nothing but read only. So you have to change the permissions of this in the project also, right? And then what next? Let's connect with this master node. How to connect to the master node? You have to use SSH command, this command. So let me give you an idea. I'll copy this command, I'll paste it here. So you are going to get a question in the interview such as how do you connect to your cluster? You are going to use maxterm to connect to the cluster. SSH space -i key pair user ID at the rate public DNS, right? So that's how we are going to connect to this. Let's copy this command, go here and then paste it. Enter. Looks like there is some problem, but we'll fix it. So if you see port 22 connection timeout, we had to fix it. You have to go to the cluster again. You can scroll down. You can see security groups for master. Just click on this. And you can just click on security group ID for master. Just click on it. Scroll down. We have something called as inbound rules. We have something called as inbound rules. So edit inbound rules. So we already have this, but not sure why it's causing a problem. Okay, anyways, let's do one thing. Let's say add rule. Add rule SSH. SSH stands for secure shell. And here in custom, I'm going to say my IP. My IP. Scroll down, click on save rules at the bottom right corner. So let's give it a try now. Now we're able to connect. So this is the master node. We're able to connect to the master node of the cluster. Master node of Amazon Web Services Elastic MapReduce cluster. Right? So how to find out your user ID? You can just say ID. So your user ID is nothing but Hadoop. You have logged in as Hadoop user. You can also type PWD. Your home directory is home Hadoop. Say LSF and LRT. I don't have any contents right now. So my goal is to copy the project into this cluster, right? So I'm going to use a command called as winscp command. So I'm going to disconnect from this by saying Control D. I'm back to my normal terminal. So I'm going to use a command called as scp command, secure copy to copy the things. So it is nothing but scp stands for secure copy, and -i we have to give the pem file key pair, and then here you have to give your file which you would like to copy, and then user ID. User ID is nothing but your Hadoop is a user ID here, and then public DNS, public domain name system. Public DNS colon, you have to give a destination path, right? Destination path. So I'm going to fill up these details now. Key pair is EMR key pair.pem. What's the file name? File name is nothing but retail export analytics, right? Let me just copy this command. I'll paste it. So this will be retail export analytics. Just a minute. Something is wrong. Just give a minute. SCP space -i EMR key pair retail export analytics, and then here you have to give the user ID. User ID is nothing but Hadoop at the rate, and then you have to give the public DNS, this one. Copy it and paste it, then say colon. So let's say I wanted to copy to home directory, home Hadoop folder, right? So let me copy this command so that you'll understand it. So this is the command, right? So key pair, file name, user ID, public DNS, colon, your destination. Hit enter. So you're going to get this question in the interview saying, okay, how do you copy your project to your cluster? You can say you are using SCP command. To confirm, let's connect to the cluster again by using SSH. Now I have logged in as the Hadoop user, and you can see that I am in Hadoop home Hadoop folder, and you should see the project here. Let's extract it. Let's say gunzip space that project. Just give me a minute. So by using unzip command, I have extracted it or decompressed it. So I don't need the .zip folder now. I can remove it. So you can go to that folder now. So I have all the code available here, right? Now I'm going to submit the Spark job by using Spark submit command. So let me show the Spark submit command for you. So the Spark submit command, involves passing all the important things that you have in your code, such as you have to say Spark submit, and then you have to pass on if there are any runtime arguments, and then your main method, or basically the file which contains your main method, all such things that we have to pass. So let's see how to run the Spark job by using Spark submit command. So Spark -submit. I'm going to break it down into multiple lines by using \. I'm going to mention the resource manager as yarn, and then I'm going to mention the deploy mode as client, and then so my main file is available in where it's nothing but retail enricher, right? Retail enricher.py. So that's what I'm going to mention. Retail enricher.py. Retail enricher.py is the one. So the retail enricher.py is the place where you have all your main code, and here we have to pass the parameters, right? What are the parameters that we are passing? So run edit configuration. So on the local machine we are passing dev source sync, but now as it is the production system, I have to pass these parameters such as prod source on sync. Why prod? Because it will go and refer the prod section from your application or properties. In the application or properties, you have this prod section, right? So that's why I'm going to mention the section as prod here. Let's copy this. This is going to run the Spark job for me and paste it here. This is running the Spark job now. Spark job is running. Spark job execution is almost done. It's done. Now let's go to the buckets. So search for S3 here and click on the first one. And you can go to EMR target folder. And here you can see May 2022 folder has been created automatically for me. Click on it and you can see that the data has been populated. Select one of the file, click on download button. It's downloaded. Let's open it in the Notepad++. Show more options, edit with Notepad++. And you can see the similar data: order date, order product ID, order revenue. Right? So guys, one important thing is EMR cluster that we have created is not free, it is paid. You have to terminate it once your work is done. So just go to EMR and select this EMR cluster and click on terminate. Don't forget this step, otherwise you will be billed. Make sure you terminate this cluster. Also, as our Spark job executed and it populated S3 buckets, so I'm going to clean up all the S3 buckets also. Go to S3 and select EMR source. First, you have to click on empty bucket, empty the buckets. Only then you can remove it. Permanently delete, click on that, and then click on empty. So then first I can go ahead and then remove it. Click on delete. Mention your bucket names, EMR source 007. Click on delete bucket and empty the target bucket also. Click on empty the one and say permanently delete. Click on empty. Then go ahead and delete it. EMR target 007. Delete bucket. So let's go to EC2. EC2 stands for Elastic Cloud Compute, because let's delete that key pair also. Click on key pairs here and let's select this key pair. Actions, delete. Type delete. Click on delete. So let's confirm whether EMR cluster has been terminated or not. Search for EMR. Let's go there. And you can see that status is showing as terminated. Very, very important. Don't forget this step, otherwise you'll be billed. EMR cluster is not free, it is paid. Right? So this is how we are going to work in the project, guys. I think pretty much this is what I wanted to cover. Any questions so far? Anybody have any questions? Couple of questions which I got in the chat. So how to open this project in the local machine? So first step is you have to extract it. So you have to write all the code, no other way. Sunanda, you have to write all the code, right? As I'm telling, you may have to fix some bugs, or you may have to implement some new features. You'll get to know once you start working the projects. So Padmaja have asked this question, right? So you can see that I have shared this Kafka stream integration folder. What you have to do is you have to first extract it. So right click, WinRAR, say extract to, it will create a folder structure, something like this, right? Once you have this, then you have to open PyCharm, and here let me just say close project. So here you can see there is something called as open button, right? Just click on open and you have to go to the place where you have extracted and then select it. That's it. That's how you have to import it. Does that answer your question? Okay. So another question is, can we do the same project in Databricks also? So we cannot do it because you can see there are a lot of files and folders. We have to integrate all this. Doing such thing on Databricks is not possible. We have to do it on IDs such as PyCharm. Okay.
What are the other IDs that we can do the same project?
We have something called a Spider also. You can do it. Search for Spider.
Okay.
Spider or Visual Studio Code, VS Code, right? These are the other alternatives, but PyCharm is a popular one. You may have to go with PyCharm.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, guys. I think we are done with our training. So all the best, everyone. So keep in touch. Yeah, I hope you liked the training. Right. See you then. Bye bye.